on this wonderful Sunday afternoon when the smoke has finally cleared from our East Coast venue, and in two ways, the smoke outside in the world, and Mighty Writers had and the Writers House had a fire next door that filled our house with smoke. And we have spent the last 2 months digging out of that. And just today, this room was repainted and ready to reopen just in the nick of time. And the downstairs is still under reconstruction. Yeah, just in time. So with that little bit of background and literally a beautiful clear day and no more smoke in the room or in the air, I will introduce Charlie Carr, who is the well-known TV host of Philly Loves Poetry and on Philly Cam, and is going to be our host for this late afternoon, early evening show. I wish you were all here. There's some beautiful food, but we'll have to enjoy it for you, and maybe you can get here live next time.
Ooh. I start everything off with a bang. Anyway, it is the first time I've been to Nick Virgilio's Writer's House. I've been in this neighborhood over the church, and I've been to Bridget House, but here it is. It's really magnificent. What a lovely venue for poetry. You have to invite me back to read poetry sometime. Yeah. So and it's a real honor, to do this as a live. So I just wanted to give a little promo to Philly Loves Poetry, which is a collaboration between Moonstone Arts Center in Philadelphia, Larry Robbins, and Philly Cam. And we're in our 7th season. I hope to do 8th season starting January. Next month, we have a local lad from Philadelphia. I think you might recognize his name is Sean Henran. And Sean's been on the photo before. So we're very excited about hosting him. And he's been a very loyal supporter of Moonstone as an editor. So, and tonight it's really special, that you brought me over here to be the host to introduce one of really my favorite people. She's one of my favorite artists and spirits, is Cassie Macdonald. I've known Cassie for probably about maybe 8, 9, maybe 10 years. And she has been a guest also on Philly Loves Poetry many years ago when we did a real special broadcast really about the work that Cassie has done in merging art with community awareness and community intervention and community outreach. And it was a really great program because we not only had her reading poetry, but we really had the landscape of poetry that she's helped change, with her dedication to art. So they've given me this very abbreviated bio. You're very humble, I'm telling you. So Cassie is a poet and a wonderful one. He's been featured at 11-1 Gallery, the Big Blue Marble bookstore up in Chestnut Hill and several other places in Camden. Cassie is the former program coordinator at Camden Fireworks, the premier art gallery and studio space of the city, which I've been, and it's really, that's another marvelous, really gem. And, in Philadelphia, they started something called Cultural Treasures of Philadelphia, right? And I hope they have Cultural Treasures of Camden, because Cassie Macdonald is a cultural treasure of Camden. Without further ado, Cassie.
Beautiful. I might need this. Oh. Okay, can you hear me? Yes, okay. Well, welcome friends here and friends out there to this beautiful evening. For lack of attention, 1,000 forms of loveliness elude us every day. That is Evelyn Underhill. I think what I admire and enjoy about haiku the most is that it's more than a poetic form. It's really a posture towards life. It's a discipline of attention every day, every moment that we're passing through in the world. The poetry is really only the end result of that practice. And it's attention, and Nick taught us, many of us this, although haiku poets have known it for as long as there have been haiku. Our attention is not only to the lovely, but also to the painful and the challenging. So, for example, Nick would have written of the death of a loved one, as in flag-covered coffin. The shadow of the bugler slips into the grave. Or something about loneliness. Thanksgiving alone, ordering eggs and toast in an undertone. And people in this room, and many people who are not in this room, work very hard to see that Camden, the city, Camden, the neighborhoods, the homes, the environments become more beautiful. But haiku is a really wonderful complement to that, because it does introduce this discipline of attention so that we don't forget to attend to the beauty that already exists in the city. So the current and coming generation of haiku poets in Camden, we want to discover their own vocabulary and their own forms to, in a form that is surprisingly flexible of haiku, to speak to their experience in this changing world, in this changing city. And when is the world not changing? Right? Always, always. So haiku is not my primary poetic form, so I feel humbled and gratified to be invited to be part of this very special gathering. I've not made a devotion of haiku, as some people have, and many do, including Nick. Hello, Sean. But I'm willing to share a few, if you'll indulge me, of haiku I've written. But I'd also like to share some of the haiku that, as Charlie mentioned, form the landscape of poetry in the city. And during the years that I was coordinating the Poetry Liberation Front, in which we painted poems on abandoned buildings and sometimes underpasses. So some of these poems are other poets, some are mine. And like that ephemeral moment that gives birth to a haiku, they are gone now, gone from sight anyway, if not memory. So I'm going to raise them up again here for us together. A bee staggers out of the peony. Basho. Ants working, heads down, intent, peony unbound. Henry Brand. Following the bees into the flowers. Peter Kinney. A bird lying in trembling hands while the sun rises. Wake up call. Jim Holmes.
You and I are exploding in our blue-black skins. Sonia Sanchez. These are mine. Watermelon slices, red curves glisten, the smiles of summer. Hungry moon, the first grasses look good enough to eat. Her throat, bared for a first kiss. Heat shimmer. And a couple of Sedru to round it out. Casino lights, false promises, change, redemption. And my personal favorite, a sign, psychic wanted, inquire within. Thank you.
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Before I hand the floor back to Charlie, I wanted to note for those who are here and for those who are online, that we have a very exciting new development. Dr. Jeff Sill, head of the English department, former head of the English department at Rutgers, has created a book called The Collected Works of Nick Virgilio. And for years, we've all been reading from Selected Haiku, which is his best known and for first full volume. There was a small hand printed edition before that from Burnt Lake Press, but this is now a definitive edition of poems probably most of us have never seen. And it's a very exciting body of work with an exciting essay that introduces it, talking about things that even many established haiku poets don't know about rhyming structure that was used in the early development of American haiku, and a number of really fascinating guidelines about internal structure and rules. So I highly commend it to your attention. We have copies here and it's on the store on nickvirgiliohaiku.org. We also have copies of the earlier books here, including the anthology that Sean Lynch edited. So with that, I give the floor back to Charlie Carr for some more introductions.
So I didn't say in my introduction that Philly Loves Poetry also has had you and Henry when you did with I'm blanking out on his name and he'll kill me, but we had a show dedicated to Lamont Steppo. He's a good friend of mine, and it was a wonderful show because it was really an exploration of haiku, and then you read these haiku from these young people all over the country, and it was just fascinating. And that night I really learned that when you read haiku, you have to read it twice. So that was instructive. It was a beautiful night, and I learned so much, and learned so much about the form. But when we talk about Nick Virgilio, that the profound impact that he had about, the very art of haiku. And, I've been after Larry for a long time to say, can we publish a book? And I think he can discuss this with you, is Philadelphia haiku. Oh yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We have never done it. But here in Camden, Nick did it. We have, the haiku of Camden, in his work. I mean, you could really get the feel of Camden from reading his haiku. So another great friend of poetry, a great friend of Philadelphia poetry is Sean Lynch. And I really know Sean through Moonstone and through Larry and through his being the host at Fergie's like I was. So Sean is the editor of 5 poetry chapbooks, including Rocky Wilson's At Last Bus to Camden, fabulous book. Lamont Steptoes Between the White Stone and Lions, and more. Sean also is the author of 4 poetry chapbooks, the latest of which is titled On Violence, which is published in 2019. So without further ado, Sean, the microphone and the floor is yours.
Thanks so much, everyone. Oh, this is loud. Probably don't even need this, but I guess for the Zoom. It's so nice to be back here. I used to work here and it's been repainted and refurnished. It's a nice communal space. I'm sorry I'm a little disheveled. I just got off work. I work in a bar and I was a little late. I'm sorry I'm late, especially because Cassie Macdonald is one of my favorite poets of all time and has been like a mentor to me. And I miss going to Bridget's house for the writers' workshops, but you're a fellow South Philadelphian now, right? So I'm sure I'll be seeing more of you now. And thank you, Charles Carr. I love Philly Loves Poetry. Great TV shows. It was interesting. I felt like I was on like a late night show being interviewed by like, you know, like, yeah, Letterman or something. When you did that, it was awesome. So I'm just gonna read some of my haiku. I'm not gonna do it twice because I'm just gonna read very slowly. Yeah, that's it. Winter wake-up call. Outside my bedroom, sparrows fight in snow. Empty swimming pool. Summer's ghost in the frigid city. Ice cakes the steps of the row home with boarded windows. Blueberry cake after midnight, stuck and missing tooth. Her toothbrush gone, I brush my teeth twice. Cyclist smiles riding over former pothole. Blood moon rises over the city. A car hits my bike. 2022, rain washes litter into a storm drain. Ice cakes the steps of the row home with boarded windows. Cold snap house fire, 12 dead, 8 of them children. I think I wrote that about a year ago. I was in Fairmount, if you remember that in your neighborhood, yeah. Swimming the river that divides our homes. Dry docked ship, portholes seep ancient water. Basketball coach pulls down mask, yells, backdoor cut. Sakura blossom overshadowed by steeple, noon bell toll. Flowers fall into black and white cups and shrivel. Dusty sake cups line the windowsill, palming the vine. Cherry blossoms bloom and die alone on a trash-strewn street. The man in a white coat blocks the view of the cemetery. Glacier melt. Never seen one at 31. Never will. Destitute prophets drag dirty plastic bags to bless trash. Food scraps float through Rittenhouse Square, carried by wind. Autumn comfort, consumed surplus on a divided bench. Sobriety, flopping in sand while washing up. Unused organs dry off while gasping for air. Heartbeats bounce off supernovas. Enjoying a smoke after having been beaten to a pulp. It's a true story. Alcoholism, what can only be quenched by an ocean. Mountain made into meaning by minds in order to sustain rivers. Two seagulls cry between palm trees as twilight arrives. A cuckoo hatchling kicks the other eggs out of the nest. Cuckoos are very important in haiku. The cuckoo bird is, Basho and other haiku poets, they talk about the cuckoos because they force other birds to raise their own young, just messed up. It's messed up, but makes for great imagery and metaphor, even though you're not supposed to use metaphor in haiku, but we all do it anyway, right? I'm now to the point where I'm doing commentary on my own haiku. This one's really dark, sorry. A spotted hawk rests on a wire looking down at the playground. I'll read that one twice. A spotted hawk rests on a wire looking down at the playground. Exhaust chokes at the car wash, exhale. A small dog stares at steel skyscrapers. I think, so this is from like a unpublished manuscript, but I think I'll read like one or two other from another manuscript and then I'll be done, I think. How much time am I good on time? What am I at? Well, thank you. I'm like going to read maybe some like Tonka or something. Like I've got a high bone that I could read, but I've read it before. This is a Tonka. Fog lifts and begins to become the sky on the ocean's horizon, where everything meets and leaves. I don't know. I think that's it. That's like all my new stuff. I've already read like all my old stuff in front of everyone before. So thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it.
Okay, yeah. Yes. And yes, Adjei will be next.
Thank you, Sean. And once again, reflecting back when you were on Philly Loves, you were on with Natalie Anderson, and we did a special March program for Irish American poetry. And if you remember, you showed your facility, and actually you ended the show with speaking a little bit of Camden. That was very impressive. And I didn't know if it was good or bad, but it sounded wonderful. It really sounded wonderful. So, and that was a great show. Natalie Anderson with you. I mean, can't get any better when we talk about Irish American poetry. So this is someone who I just met, and I'm very, very, very excited about him wanting to hear and read. And excuse me if I do not pronounce your name correctly. Adjei Agyei-Baah. Adjei is an English and literature lecturer at the University of Ghana School of Continuing and Distance Education. He's the author of 5 poetry books and the co-founder of Africa's most notable haiku community, Africa Haiku Network. Adjei's most recent book is called Tales of the Kite, which is just released this year. So without further ado, Adjei.
Sorry, my microphone was off. Nick, thank you for the opportunity to have me. My name is Adjei Agyei-Baah. I'm the co-founder of Poetry Foundation, co-founder of African Haiku Network. I love haiku. I discovered haiku through a friend here in Ghana way back in 2010. My friend name was Nana Fridi Ajiman. He was an agric extension officer. He used to go to the forest and return with haiku and share it on his blog. So that was where I came. I had an encounter with haiku poetry and started following haiku. And through the internet, I also came to know a lot of haiku groups. So it's morning here in New Zealand. It's winter morning here in New Zealand. That's why you can find me in this. It's very cold, a bit cold here. And it's Sunday morning. I could not go to church because I wanted to share haiku with you. This morning here in New Zealand, I will be sharing haiku from my latest collection titled Tales of the Kite. And if I'm permitted, I will share my screen. I will share through the screen some of the poetry. Excuse me. Yeah. Is my screen shared at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I'll be reading from my latest collection titled Tales of the Kite, published by Button Hook Press. So Tales of the Kite was inspired by my childhood experience. When I was a child, I loved to fly the kite. So when I came to know haiku, I thought it was a great moment to share my childhood experience through haiku. So this was a collection that I came out with this year titled Tales of the Kite. And in all, it's made up of 102 haiku poems, all exploring the theme of kite. So I've selected some few to share with you, and I hope you will enjoy it.
But we are still seeing your directory rather than the PowerPoint.
Yeah, we're not seeing the your PDF. We're seeing your directory right now.
Can you see my PDF?
No, we only see your list of files at the moment.
List of files.
Yeah, you might
okay.
share. Yeah.
Let me share it again. Is it in now?
There you go.
Okay, thank you. So Tales of the Kite. So I will share some of the poems from Tales of the Kite. Tug of war. Poor child, your kite belongs to the wind. Tug of war. Poor child, your kite belongs to the wind. A child's dream hangs low. A kite caught on a telephone wire. A child's dream hangs low. A kite caught on the telephone wire. Breezeless day. A child's run to gather wind for his kite. Breezeless day. A child's runs to gather wind for his kite. What a sight. A kite swimming in the wind. What a sight. A kite swimming in the wind. Sea wind. My kite, the only fish in the sky. Sea wind. My kite, the only fish in the sky. Stretch wings. A kite carrying the sky nowhere. Stretch wings. A kite carrying the sky nowhere. Childhood heroism. hailing the kite that journeyed farthest. Childhood heroism, hailing the kite that journeyed farthest. My dancing kite, till storm do us part. My dancing kite, till storm do us part. Kite festival. This scary look from a flying octopus. Kite festival. This scary look from a flying octopus. Twilight. A returning kite grazes the sun. Twilight. A returning kite grazes the sun. The kite master conducting the winds. The kite master conducting the winds. I think this is the only one-line haiku in the whole collection of 102 poems in the collection. The kite master conducting the winds. Open sky. A little kite hovers in eagle space. Open sky. A little kite hovers in eagle space. Heated kite, knowing its place of rest, empty hammock. Heated kite, knowing its place of rest, empty hammock. Gaza, a kite descends in tatters. Gaza, a kite descends in tatters. So I've come to the end of the reading, and here are some information that I believe some of you will be interested to know. Like I said, I am the co-founder of African Haiku Network, and we also have a journal called the Mamba Journal. I hope some of you already know the Mamba Journal, and it's Africa's first haiku journal that we use to promote haiku from Africa. So when you go to African Haiku Network website, you can have you can download PDF of the journal over there, and we also have a collection of poems that are written by Africans that have been uploaded there for free. So you can also download those works also for free. And these are also my published works that most of them are online for free. When you get to the website, you can get them for free. Afriku is there. Afriku is one of my main collection that are my earliest collection that I wrote to promote haiku from Africa. It was published by Red Moon Press. It's there for free. I have Ghana, 21 haiku, Finding the Other Door, Scaring Crow, Tales of the Kite, and The Fury of My Fat. All these collections are mostly for free, and most of them are also on Amazon that those who are interested to get hard copies can also buy from there. So these are the work that I thought of sharing with you today, and I hope some of you enjoyed what I read. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful.
I don't know if I have more time. I can also read from other collections. Yeah.
Time-wise, how many people do we have signed up to read Camden Light?
I think 5.
5. So, yeah, we can take 5 more minutes, no problem. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Your voice is very faint and I could hardly hear what you said.
Yeah, Eric, if you want to take 5 more minutes, you can take 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes, okay. 5 more minutes, okay. I will read again from a collection here. I'll read from my collection titled Scaring Crow. Scaring Crow. Scaring Crow was my collection that I published last year. And I will share some of the poems with you. It's a collection of poems about scarecrow. Back here in Ghana, we use scarecrow to control pests on our farm. And I was inspired by those encounters to put up a collection of haiku on the scarecrow. So once again, this one is also made up of a collection of 102 haiku poems exploring the theme of scarecrow. So the first one reads like this. The first one reads like this. Grandpa's well. All his clothes goes to the scarecrow. Grandpa's well, all his clothes goes to the scarecrow. Droughts end. In a scarecrow's chest, skeletons of scarecrow. Droughts end. In a scarecrow's chest, a skeleton of scarecrow. Harvested fields. Under the scarecrow's feet, a pile of corn cobs. Harvested fields. Under the scarecrow's feet, a pile of corn cobs. A child martyr. The scarecrow after the passing of forest fire. A child martyr. The scarecrow after the passing of forest fire. Ripened field. An old scarecrow invites bears to party. Ripened field. An old scarecrow invites bears to party. Golden maize field. A lone scarecrow puffs in the wind. Golden maize field. A lone scarecrow puffs in the wind. Flitting butterfly. The scarecrow's shoulder provides a rest. Flitting butterfly. The scarecrow's shoulder provides a rest. I will end here and probably take some questions and leave. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate so much for the invitation.
Thank you. I just love the coincidence of you choosing the Scarecrow poems. We are speaking at Haiku Society of America, Haiku North America, sorry, later this month. And Dr. Sill is presenting out of the new collected haiku, all of Nick's poems about Scarecrow and stories about how the interaction of nature and man come together so symbolically in a scarecrow. And we'll be doing some thematic work and getting people to write poetry about scarecrows. So you just happened on the zeitgeist of the moment with that choice. I loved it.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Scarecrow is available in the Haiku Foundation digital library. So those who want to read the full collection can download it for free. It's available there for reading. Yeah.
You want to start with Gustafson? Margie Gustafson?
Margie Gustafson.
Yes.
Wonderful.
What he said. Hi, my name is Margie Gustafson. I live in Lombard, which is a suburb of Chicago, and I've been contributing to Haiku in Action for over a year now, and I'd like to read you some of my poems. Spring quickening. I spill my secrets to the new moon. Candlelight dinner, sharing the light in each other's eyes. This one was published in Haiku in Action. It's about the World Cup soccer game. Intelligent sport. All of the players use their heads. This was also in Haiku in Action. Summer windstorm. Plastic shopping bag does a pirouette. This I just like. Fossils in sandstone, leafing through my old high school yearbook. This was the first one I got published on Haiku in Action. Doctor's waiting room, even the plants look sick. This one was published on Trout Swirl, and it's also in the HSA anthology. She loves me not. Petals in the void. This one is also from the HSA anthology. Crosses on the lawn. During eulogy, butterfly floats by. This one was published in Trout Swirl. Opening night. Stargazer lilies steal the show. This one won a haiku contest in Japan. To climb Mount Fuji, 10,000 yen admission, no poet discount. This one was popular on Facebook. Outdoor concert, cicadas for the opening and closing act. This one I just wrote for Pride Month. Love has many names, many different facets of the same jewel. And finally, my neighbor's flowers are much bigger than my own. Peonies envy. Thank you very much. You can read more of my haiku in my book, Haiku Very Much, which is available on Amazon.com. And I'm Adjei Gustafson. Thank you so much for letting me read. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us.
Susan or Marissa, are you looking to share tonight? The last two people in our.
And Susan is our current Haiku in Action editor. That's Susan Birch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's all that we have on our Zoom call. Is there anyone in the room?
Are they unmuted in case they want to see us?
Yeah, they're on. They can unmute themselves if you like to read.
I would be happy to read the winners of this year's youth contest, which are really an impressive group of poets. Okay, we had some amazing, as always, student entries this year. We'll be reading them again at the Graveside Celebration, which happens on June 25th at Harley Cemetery, for those of you who come every year. And those who don't, it's a good time and some cake and some good poetry. At 2:30. At 2:30, right, in Harley. And doubly important this year, Father Doyle was with us last year for it, and he's now buried next to Nick Virgilio, right by the Goose Pond. So it will be profound, I'm sure. Here are this year's winning haiku. The judges this year were Erin Castaldi and Scott Mason for Haiku Society of America. Held in winter branches, a fading moon's broken light. And that's by Amelia Dukel, 12th grader from Turkey. And catch this, Amelia won 2 poems in a blind judging of thousands of poems. Her second poem is Wind-Brushed Pond, Light Breaks Through Dragonfly Wings. Wind-Brushed Pond, Light Breaks Through Dragonfly Wings. The next one is by Grace Kilva, grade 9, from Pago Pago, American Samoa. You can see our contest has gone global. Kingfisher chatter in the wind, her tousled hair. Kingfisher chatter in the wind, her tousled hair. This next one is by Elsa Kroll, 8th grader from Pennsylvania. Farmer's wagon, dust settles till dawn. Farmer's wagon, dust settles till dawn. Rachel Morrison, 8th grader in Georgia, wrote this one. Rosh Hashanah, her apple cake recipe scribbled in German. Rosh Hashanah, her apple cake recipe scribbled in German. And this one from Mingyan Wu, a 12th grader in Colorado. Night without clouds, she holds the moonlight gently. Night without clouds, She holds the moonlight gently. Alrighty, I don't know whether anybody else would like to read. Yes, Charlie.
Just wanted to say something. Wonderful.
You want to use the mic?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. I'll try not to kick that stand again.
I just wanted to share a wonderful haiku experience that I had when my wife and I went to Pittsburgh for a 75th wedding celebration for my sister-in-law. And she had all her children, and then she had two grandchildren there who were from Denver, Colorado. And her granddaughter is 9 years old. And I engaged her in a conversation. I said, I understand you like poetry. And she said, oh yeah, haiku. She said 575. 575. Okay, I said, maybe. But anyway, so I said, that's really wonderful. And I went into the living room and drank. And then like 5 minutes later, she came in with this piece of paper with a haiku written in pencil and gave it to me. And it was absolutely wonderful. And like last month, I received an anthology of poetry from her 12-year-old brother. It was, it just blew me away that a 12-year-old could write poetry like this. And the introduction is as good as any introduction I've read in some professional, quote unquote, professional poets' introduction to the book. So kids are in it. And they love poetry, and it is a way for them to express what is going on in their life and what's going on in the world. So I just encourage.
I'm so glad you went there. That's
I encourage people and read, and you're reading from these poems from all over the world. I mean, that's really amazing what you guys do.
Camden,
To make-
yeah.
That Camden, down no Camden. That's really a cool place. So, and this has really been a treat for me to be able to do this. So don't be shy about asking me to come back and
Thank
to
you.
host,
Thank you.
and, the invitation is open for 2024. We want to bring you back.
Okay,
Haiku on Philly West Poetry again,
great.
and, get that on Philly West Poetry.
Okay,
So,
fantastic.
thank you.
We are all about using poetry to help underserved youth, especially adults too, but especially youth. We're kicking off some very exciting programs now. We'll be teaching at the Kroc Center with two established haiku poets, one from Atlantic City, one from Egg Harbor, coming into the Kroc Center to work with the children. And we'll be measuring their feelings about poetry going into it and coming out of it, and hope to be able to point to our funders to show the measurable results that are possible. I think to close, I'm just going to play roulette with the book that is brand new. I've not looked to choose the poems ahead of time, but a few of Nick's that you haven't heard from selected haiku. Bitter cold wind carving a frozen snowdrift. The Crescent Moon, published in Modern Haiku in 1973. By the littered beach at twilight, a dead otter rides the red tide. Spring wind and rain on the museum lawn, a seaplane with nests in the wings. And maybe one more. The old village scold, scattering school children, bitter cold. Modern Haiku, 1976. So there's a new treasure trove to make your way through. Any last readers before we close?
Did I not sign up?
No, but if you'd like to read, we've got a few more minutes.
Oh, good, okay.
Say something and then we'll close. Thank everybody for joining. Great read the other.
Just wanted to mention that from what Charlie said, after 10 years of reading poems for the contest from 7th to 12th grade children, I find that the younger the child, the more fantastic the work. You know, obviously, this is a kind of a judgment on my part, obviously, but it's really striking, I'll say. I'll read a couple of haiku here. And I didn't mean to be the last person. I might not still, who knows? Let's see. This is to be published at Haiku North America this year. In the morning dew, basketball warming up. In the morning dew, basketball warming up. Some others which may or may not have ever been read before. At the beach, the ocean struggles, washing winter out of her hair. At the beach, the ocean struggles, washing winter out of her hair. In the middle of the night, sleeping between us, purring. In the middle of the night, actually between us, sleeping, purring. Karate dropout, kicked in the crotch, yellow belt. Karate dropout, kicked in the crotch, yellow belt. True story, by the way. Older now, one by one, falling leaves. Oh, another thing I'd like to say is that what I find when I'm reading, if I can feel the room that's got it in one reading, I don't bother. But I believe what Nick said, and I've heard it so many times, that especially if there's a lot of people, you can say it first and people hear the word, but they don't hear everything. And the second time gives it a new window. So, and I do try to tell it the first time, but believing Nick and knowing Nick, I'm going to say it twice anyway. Here's my first and so far only one word poem. Windswept. Another way is winds wept. Windswept. By the way, I grew up, I almost said plantation, but a farm called Windswept. My mother named it because she didn't like sweeping. Small white flower. I'll start again. Small flower with 8 white petals. Just there. I think that's it. Thank you.
This video, the recording of this session will be posted on YouTube. So if you missed any of the resources on where to get people's poetry, you'll be able to go back and find it. Our YouTube channel is Nick Virgilio Haiku Association or Nick Virgilio's Writers House. I never remember which. And check us out. There are some wonderful seminars on writing haiku with Michael Dillon Welch, with Tom Painting, and there are a number of our open mics. Thank you so much for joining today, everybody.